Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dan's album analysis and rating on Off the Charts. My name is Dan, and I shall be your host once again. And once again, of all the channels out there on YouTube, thank you for coming to watch this one. Very appreciative here. So, before we start off, if you do like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Hit the little thumbs up and the little bell to be notified when I publish new content like this. So today's suggestion comes from @drocker4729. So how this works, on Wednesdays, I do an album analysis and rating based on the viewers, you, the viewer. So you could just write any suggestion in the comments. I will write them down. If I don't have the album, I'll eventually get it if I can get it at a good price. But I do write everything down. If I have the album, I'll do the rating right away. But if not, well, I'll let you know if I have it or not. But they're all put down on a list. So some people have waited a week. Some people have waited a year. So it's whatever I have in my collection. So today's request comes from @drocker4729, who requested I do an analysis on Headpins' last album, Head Over Heels. Now, I was actually watching, while looking at this, I'm like, is this the right album? And it's not written on the side sleeve here. Thing is, it's written super, I can see it right here, super small here. I'm like, oh God, that is what that album is called. Anyway, Head Over, well, I knew what it was called, I just didn't know where it was written. So here's Head Over Heels. Came out in 1985, produced by Brian Too Loud McLeod. This is him right here, rest in peace. This was also on MCA Records. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated, okay? So, and in the back, it says Headpins are, okay? Darby Mills, vocals. Brian Too Loud McLeod on guitar, keyboards, and drums. Ab Bryant on bass. Mark Craney on drums. And Darcy McDonald on keyboards. Now, I named 5 people, but there's only 4 right here. So, I don't know. And I forget, there's a video, well, I'll talk about the video later on there. But there's also Matt Frenetti, or Frenette, from Loverboy, and Kim Mitchell to a point there. Drums on Don't Matter What You Say. So that's the extra, well, there's a few extra ones, but that's the one I know. This would be the last album with Darby Mills on vocals. Not sure what happened, if it was a fight or she just quit or did they disband, but that's after that. That's when Headpins got Chrissy Steele. So let's look at song by song from Headpins' Head Over Heels. First off, we have Still the One. And this is where I noticed some differences from the first couple of albums. This album is good. Is there any standout tracks like, they had on the first 2 there, Celebration, Turn It Loud, Don't It Make You Feel Like That, like stuff like that? There's none really. Well, there's one, but and I'll explain myself later on. It's a good album. I just don't find there's no wow or standout tracks on this album here. But starts off with Still the One, and you hear some, fake drums are starting to creep. And I guess at the time, 1985, that a lot of fake drums, but these really sound fake. Not all the time, but certain songs are. And of course, lots of keyboards. Not as much, like, I remember writing it down that there's lots of keyboards, but it's not as in your face as some other bands. So anyway, still a good opener. I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10. Next up, you have Death of Me. And it starts off with that synthesizer bass where there was a song by Shy that started off the same way. and I said it sounded like the bass from Highway Child. Um, it's a little bit more rock, less keyboards on this one here, but the song's good. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Um, I'm actually just looking at like she is pretty friggin' gorgeous, Darby Mills. When you think about it, there, quite the outfit in this one here. I'll say that there. But anyway, okay. Next up is "Staying All Night." Now that's the video I was telling you about. I don't know if there's any more videos, but that's the one I remember from that album here. So I'm gonna give that one an 8, and I'll explain myself. First of all, the video is dumb. I'm not basing it on the video, and I'll explain the video after there. But it's probably one of their easiest or catchiest songs on this album. But I'm listening to it, and there's a part just before she starts singing the chorus. Kind of feels like it's going into another song of theirs, and it's feels like a Just One Night. And I'm listening to that song. I'm like, is she gonna say that Just One Night part? No, then it goes Staying All Night. What I find lacks this album is it tends to be pretty generic at times, as opposed to, that's what I mean by not having any standout songs. And that was the single, and it's good, 8 out of 10. The video was dumb too, and it's them singing in this some sort of rehearsal space, and like when you have planned jokes, but then you don't put that many jokes, so there's like and I've seen this type of video where everything goes wrong. At one time, the mic is on the stand and the stand goes loose and just drops. And it was stupid stuff like that that's happening in the video, or one guy loses I forget the bass or whatever, I forget, but there's not, you think that there's going to be like lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff, bad stuff happening for it to make it worthwhile. But there's maybe 2 or 3 bad stuff, and like one of them is, like I said, the mic stand just going down. I was like, okay, that's really not great humor there, but that has no effect on my rating for the song there. I'm just saying that that's a dumb video. I hate funny scripted funny when you're trying to get some like bad stuff happening, like this video here. Stuff that's supposed to be accidental is planned. Like, that's what I mean there. But anyway, makes sense here, guys. So yeah, an 8 out of 10 for that one. Next up, we have Hot Stuff, which I'm going to give a 7 for that one. Fake drums again, or electronic drums if you want. I call them fake drums there. And it's like this 3-note, the whole song is this 3-note guitar and bass riff. Makes it pretty heavy. It's just not a very memorable riff, if you ask me. Reminds me of something else. I don't know what this time there. But there's keyboards on the chorus and pre-chorus, which is decent there. Again, a decent, like, no bad songs on this album. It's just nothing wow, I find there. So yeah, it gets a 7 out of 10 Hot Stuff. Last song on side 1 would be Chain Gang. Not bad. Ends with a really great saxophone solo, though. I do really like that. That was actually a little bit different there. That one also gets a 7 out of 10. It's again a good song, no wow moment. Now we are going to go to side 2. So we've got Never Come Down from the Danger Zone. Now this is where I find like one of those songs that extremely generic. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great either. I'm just going to put that as 7 also. Just very generic. Nothing really wow again. Don't Matter What You Say, next up on side 2. I'm giving that one an 8. It's a little bit more rock. But again, there's no 10s on this album for me. Well, there's some on the other albums here. Next up, we have, by the way, Don't Matter What You Say, got an 8. Yeah, I said that. Be With You. It's an AOR mid-paced. And I wrote, sounds like old HP. What the fuck is H? Oh, Headpins. Yeah, it sounds like that's the one that sounds the most like Headpins from album number 1 and 2. Be With You, yeah. I gave that one a 7. It's decent. Again, it's an AOR mid-paced one. Next up is You're Only, in brackets, Afraid of the Dark. That one is actually my least favorite of the album. I'm going to give it a 5. It's got a weak chorus, but there's a great guitar solo and also a great outro guitar solo. I do love that song just for that. Well, I don't love the songs. I gave it a 5. That's the only saving grace is those a great guitar solo in the middle and at the end as an outro. So that one gets a 5 out of 10. And next up is Burning at Both Ends. Rocks it up a little bit more, but again, not a great way to end the album, in my opinion. I'm giving that one a 6. It's a decent song, but nothing great. Now, I was told that at drocker4729 said this was his favorite Headpins album. For me, it's my third favorite. They have 3 albums. Again, it's a good album. I just don't find it's missing that wow moment for me. So the final rating, which is actually not bad at all still, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 for Headpins Head Over Heels. Darby Mills has got a great voice, great set of pipes. I love her singing. Sometimes you even hear a little bit of Lee Aaron in this album, I find there. But mostly she sounds more like she's got a type of voice like Alana Miles, like a little raspier voice, or Linnea Vikstrom Egg from Thunder Mother. Just a little bit raspier voice, but really powerful voices those girls have. So yeah, Darby Mills was like great. Even Chrissy Steele had a great voice too. I'm not even sure what happened with her there, but well, I do to a point there. But yeah, great. I still think that she was she was a great Secret Weapon, but it was all his band there. I'm told there, which is Brian Too Loud McLeod. So anyway, 7 out of 10 for Headpins Head Over Heels. So I'd like to thank at drocker4729 for the suggestion. It was fun revisiting this one here. So if anybody else out there wants a shout out or a suggestion, again, just write them down in the comments and I'll see what I can do. If I have it, I'll gladly do an analysis and rating on it. If I don't have it, I'll put it on my wish list and then we'll see where it goes. So that is my episode for today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and once again, thank you for choosing this YouTube channel to watch today. It means a lot. So we shall see you guys next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.